All right, race fans, welcome to TurnLeft TV. Be ready for some high-speed action tonight. Step on the gas. All right, race fans, welcome to Nashville. This is TurnLeft TV, and I'm your host, Heath Johnson. The High Octane Race League Tough Truck Series kicks off the brand new season at Nashville. It's race number 1 of a 10-race season, and this could be a big one, man. It's 110 laps tonight. It's super fast track. And a little surprise broadcast for you. Who's got what it takes to bring home the victory? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's watch it right here on TurnLeft TV. Well, it's a Tough Trucks night, isn't it? It's Wednesday night, and that is tire rule and a lot of beating and banging, baby. Let's get this party started. All right, thank you so much for joining me here on TurnLeft TV. A little Tough Trucks action for you on a Wednesday night. I'm your host, Heath Johnson, broadcaster, commentator here at TurnLeft TV. Get the right view. There we go. 110 laps here tonight, race number 1, and Nashville Superspeedway, round 1 of a 10-round season. Thank you for joining me here on TurnLeft TV. I appreciate it. Guys are in the practice session. About 12 minutes left to go in practice. It's going to be a fun one, man. Always fun in the Tough Trucks. Thank you for joining me here on the YouTube channel. Don't forget that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't done so, and then smash the bell. You get updates when races are going live. Like, hey, like this right here, a little surprise broadcast in the Tough Truck Series. Thank you for all the people, who have subscribe to the channel, all the people come out and watch and haven't subscribed. Please encourage you to subscribe, and I am pretty close to the 1,000 mark, man. It's taken me so long, but I couldn't do it without your help. Thank you so much. Well, the Tough Truck Series is an interesting one, and we get a tire rule in this series, 12 total tires throughout the night. Any 2 tires you go over is a 1-lap penalty. Michigan coming up next week. That'll be a lightning fast. A lot of room to race there. Very fast track. So Vegas, 1.5 miles there. Very fast track there as well. And then Kentucky Speedway, slowing it down a little bit, but a little flatter track, but a lot of fun at Kentucky. That's race number 4. You see Riverside, the only road course on the season schedule, coming up on June the 24th. No, Riverside doesn't exist anymore, but it does in the virtual world, and we love that track. Chicago coming up on July the 1st, kick off the month of July. You see Atlanta, North Wilkesboro, Lucas Oil, and Myrtle Beach. You got a fair number of short tracks on the back end of this schedule, too. Wow. Just how we like it. Tonight's race is brought to you by EliteHostingUSA.com. If you are interested in an rFactor 2 server for your race league, there are 3 self-managed server packages for you to choose from. How about hosting your website or your online store? VPS hosting and shared web hosting also available through EliteHostingUSA.com. Coming up on Friday, the High Octane Racing League Bushwhackers Xfinity Series will be at Nashville. So the trucks are going to get it warmed up, and we're going to set it on fire on Friday in the Bushwhackers Series. 110 laps there in that brand new season. Always a fun season, man. Big fields there. A lot of guys beating and banging in those Xfinity cars, too, so it should be a fun one. And then on Saturday, we'll be at Iowa Speedway for a 200-lap race on the back half of that 8-race season, and it has been a fantastic one so far. So excited to broadcast that one coming up on Saturday, May the 30th. And then, of course, ending off the week at Nashville in the Saturday Night Thunder Next Gen Series, race number 2 of that season. These guys got started a little bit early, but 110 laps there in the Cup cars, the Next Gen cars, on Saturday nights. About 8 minutes left to go in the practice session. We'll talk a little bit about the tire rule. 12 total tires tonight. Every 2 tires you go over the limit is a 1-lap penalty. You're going to manage your rubber and win the race. This thing is tough on tires, too. We'll take a look at the track. Concrete, 1.33 miles in length, 2.14 kilometers, 1.45 kilometers, 4 turns, banking the turns at 14 degrees, front stretch at 9 degrees, and the back stretch at 6 degrees. And the concrete aspect of this and the high speeds really do take a toll on the tires, man, because guys, it's not a very difficult track to drive. It really is not. And guys are going to really, really go out like gangbusters here. You can run too wide as well. So this could be a big issue tonight at Nashville with the tire rule. So you're going to have to manage that, or kind of manage that risk versus reward, you know, going out fast versus saving your tires. Emerson Sirkowski joining us in the chat session. A little surprise stream here tonight. Of course, next week we will be at Michigan for a 90-lap race. This thing is super fast, man. A big, wide track, but it is also tough on tires, too. So an interesting track coming up in the Wednesday Night Tough Truck Series. We already headed into June. My heavens, man. Where is time gone? Don't forget to help us out for Claudio Bardelli Jr. He's Sober Tom Podcast dude. Guy, all things music there at Sober Tom Podcast on YouTube. Check him out, man. Claudio Bardelli Jr., one of our great Brazilian drivers. Plugging his channel a little bit. Well, I haven't really talked about what the keys to the race here tonight are at Nashville. Save the tires. That is the key to every race here in the Tough Truck Series. It really is, because of the tire rule. Find your groove. I think really getting a good rhythm here, finding that groove, where you're best at, where you're going to manage those tires the best. Set up the passes too. It is a wide track. There's a lot of room to race here, but everybody's fast. It's not a super technical track, so it's going to be harder to pass here. Going to have to manage that traffic tonight too, as we start getting drivers spread out, but the guys are a little bit different pit strategies and so forth. And that brings us to the last one, and that is make good pit stops. I think we're going to see some green flag pit stops tonight. I think you can bank on that. I really think we're going to have a few caution flags as well, but those green flag pit stops are going to be super, super important. I think you can recover a lot easier if you have, kind of a bad stop under yellow flag conditions. But man, when you're talking about green flag conditions, getting on and off pit lane is going to be key here tonight. So those are my keys to the race. About 2.5 minutes left to go before we hit the qualification session. We'll take a look at the schedule here, and I think next week with Michigan going to be lightning fast like it is tonight, but on steroids at Michigan, and there's a lot of room to race there as well. To see Vegas, Kentucky, and Riverside in the first half of that season. Vegas and Kentucky both 1.5 miles. Of course, Riverside a beast at its own. When we start looking at differences in these tracks coming down, Riverside being that road course. This could be a big one too. I mean, it's regular points. It's 45 laps, a fair number of laps there at Riverside. And it's going to be the old classic stock car configuration there at Riverside too. So that'll be a very, very interesting race. To see Chicagoland, Atlanta, North Wilkesboro, Lucas Oil, and Myrtle Beach. 2 short tracks, 3 short tracks actually. The final 3 races of the season are short tracks. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out for those guys that are, a little bit more 1.5 mile and super speedway type of guys. Step on the gas. All right, we're headed to the qualification session. A little bit of a light crowd right now. I think a couple of guys I think are trying to get back in. But we have some guys joining us here a little bit late. That's going to end the practice session. Qualification position, I do think is going to be really important here as well. It's not only just for the pit stall action, or where you're pitting, where your pit box is, I should say, on pit lane, but also starting position too. You don't want to be back there in the middle of the pack or in the back of the pack. with this track. Any of kind of shenanigans that happen where, you know, you may have a crash or whatever that happens up front, your chances of getting involved in that are pretty big if you're back in the pack as well. So I think a lot of guys are going to be vying for a good qualification position.
A lot of soul.
We've got a couple guys here waiting to get back in. We're going to wait here for just a minute. It's RF2. Qualifications is coming up here in just a few moments. Waiting to turn over there. It looks like some guys have lost the connection. All right, headed over to the qualification session now. Because we get 2 time laps. Look at an out lap, 2 time laps, and an in lap. So 4 total laps with 2 time. They're in the middle. We all knew that, right? All right, these guys are now in the qualification session. It's like John Stanley out on the track. John Stanley, one of our great Canadian drivers, living in that great province of Nova Scotia. Definitely want to get a good starting position here. .32.448 there for Jacob, but a 32.090 for Gordon Carter. John Stanley, let's see where he lands here on his time lap. John Stanley P4, 32.727 there for him. Gelson Neto here on his out lap. Hard at the top there with a 31.970. Jacob still P2. Mello up to the third position. Gelson Neto with a .095 behind Gordon Carter. Neto right now with a 32.065. See what he can do on lap number 2. In the blue here for lap 2. A little bit slower there through the middle of that corner. Sector 2 a little bit off the pace here, but I think he might have enough here. Is he going to get it? And he does with a 31.845. Good job there, Gelson Neto. Jack Furtado might have something to say about that. 31.845 is the time to beat. Jack Furtado in his out lap. Now his first timed lap. .32.736. So 32.736, 7th right now for Jack Furtado. All right, 32.749 and P7 for Jack. So these guys, looks like they are finished with the qualification session. Just a few moments left to go in official qual, and I don't think anybody else is going out. And thank you so much for joining me here on TurnLeft TV. Appreciate you being here. Little surprise broadcast. A lot of guys missing tonight. There, summer stuff coming up, I guess. So should be a fun one here tonight. Always is in the truck series. And we will get this party started. All right, we're back here. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get something to play, and it wouldn't play. So we are back. Whoa! This is why I don't do it on Wednesday nights, man. It's bad luck. Oh, man. Yeah, I had a video or a audio that I played that for some reason can't get it to play on tonight about encoder settings, so we'll have to figure that out. That's what I was doing, solving that problem. Qualification still going on, and these guys are going through the drivers' meeting right now. Don't forget the Bushwhacker Series will be back in action on Friday night for a brand new season. They'll be right here at Nashville. Tough Truck's going to lay down the rubber, and then the Bushwhacker Series will be on it on Friday. So race number 1 of a brand new season there.
A lot of soul.
And that'll be a lot of fun, man. 110 laps and a great, great series schedule heading your way in the Bushwhacker Series. Qualification's just about over. Givaldo and Dana Grover joining us in the chat session. Good to see both those guys. This guy's going to be out there on the track mixing it up tonight. All right, qualification's over officially. We're now in the warm-up session. We can give you the results. All right, Jelson Neto with the 31.845, the top guy on the grid here with 63 trucks in the top Ford, huh? Gordon Carter will start in P2 with a 31.970. Mateus Mello, how about this, man? Good parity, Ford, Chevy, Toyota. Mateus qualifies in the 3rd position. Sean Jacobs will start 4th. Starting in 5th will be John Stanley. Julio Caligari starts in the 6th position. Jack Furtado will start 7th. Dana Grover starts in the 8th position. And Givaldo Spindola will start in P9. A couple of guys here, I think, decided not to race. We would have about 11 drivers or so, 11 or 12 drivers. These guys are now in the warm-up session. Don't forget, on Saturday, May the 30th, we will be at Iowa Speedway in the High Octane Racing League IndyCar Series. 200 laps. That'll be broadcast live right here on TurnLeft TV. Should be a lot of fun, man. I'll tell you what, some of these guys, man, they were racing at Indy last week. We had a great broadcast from Indianapolis Motor Speedway last Saturday. A lot of guys who are racing in this, you know, we have one road course, the rest of them are ovals. And a lot of guys who, you know, have never been to Iowa. They don't know what this short track's going to be like in these Indy cars. So it's going to be really interesting. This tight racing, big field, and a lot of fun there at Iowa Speedway coming up on Saturday, May the 30th, right here on TurnLeft TV. Take a look at Gordon Carter in the 7X and the 63. Gelson Neto. Side-by-side action here is a portrait of, I think, what we're going to see here tonight. Crossover move attempted by the 63. You see a lot of room to race there, man, especially through the corners. You get a lot of room. You know, of course, we know you're going to have a lot of room in the straightaways, but through the corners, I think you get a lot of room there to be able to either go to the high side, go to the low side, you know, maybe a crossover move, that type of thing. You see different strategies to save tires, different strategies to get a little bit more speed. I think it's Giulio Caligari here. He could win this race tonight, man. He's been in the hunt, that's for sure, here in the Truck Series. Very, very solid driver. 8 truck tonight. Practicing that pitting. See right there, it's tough to get on pit lane, man. I'll tell you, it is really, really tough. You're carrying so much speed. You want to try to keep that speed. And you see here, he's going to have to maybe get another couple attempts there to get some practice in. Mateus Mello in the Toyota. One of our new drivers. Welcome, Mateus. Sean Jacobs in the 24, that Kubota-sponsored Chevy. One of those guys, you know, he's looking big picture here. He's looking about a championship. He wants a truck championship. He's got a couple. And I think, you know, whenever he goes out for a season, he is definitely thinking about the bigger picture, and that is a championship. You keep your eye on the 24 truck this season. Dana Grover in the 89. Be chilling out there, getting some practice on pit lane, it looks like, in the 89. One of those guys definitely in the conversation for a big picture driver here as far as championship run. Of course, you never can count the 63 out as well. The only thing that really hurts the 63 sometimes connection issues. Gelson Neto racing from Brazil, I believe. I started saying Portugal. I think it's Brazil. Sometimes I get he and Thiago Lopez mixed up of where they're located, so I know the difference in the two guys. I just kind of forget, but Gelson, I believe, from Brazil, living in Brazil. He'll correct me if I'm wrong, definitely. I know a guy I know very well from Brazil, and that's this guy right here, Vivaldo Spindola, in a 68 truck. Could be one of those guys in the conversation, too. Giulio Caligari, you know, he's thinking big picture. He's thinking championship as well. Definitely want to start it off right here tonight at Nashville. Who knows, man? Jack Furtado in the 94, one of those old guard HORL drivers. Could be him tonight, too. John Stanley in pit lane. Could be old John. Also, Gordon Carter as well. Got about 3 minutes left to go in the warm-up session. There's a couple guys having some weather issues. That's why they have not been able to join back. couple of minutes left to go in the warm-up session, and we'll get things going. Don't forget the Saturday Night Thunder will be back in action on Saturday, May the 30th. Racing starts at 9 p.m. It'll be race number 2. And 110 laps there from Nashville in the Next Gen Series. About a minute left. Don't forget to join us over there at highoctaneracing.net. Where you get the point standings, access to point standings. A good way to get a hold of us there is using the QR code there or the link to our Discord server if you're ready to give it a shot. We'd love to have you. It's highoctaneracing.net.
Soul.
All right, here we go, baby. All right, I think we're ready to rock and roll. All right, let's take a look at the starting order here tonight. This funky starting 63 of Jelson Neto starts P1, 7X. Gordon Carter starts second. Mateus Mello will start in the third position. Sean Jacobs starts in P4. Starting in the fifth position is John Stanley. Giulio Caligari will start sixth. Jack Patano starts in the seventh position. Dana Grover will start eighth. And starting in ninth will be Gibaldo Spindola. Hey, if you're a track builder, do not have the cars start from this configuration, man, because it breeds guys getting damaged on pit road trying to file out. So if you're a track builder, do not set the track up where they're going to line up like this. You see, it is kind of dicey. There you go. I made my point. All right, well, a little bit of a light crowd here tonight with the Memorial Day festivities still going on. The guys off for vacation. Go out and race Keyswear here tonight, man. Save those tires, find your groove, set up those passes, manage traffic, and make good pit stops here tonight. Gelson Neto and Gordon Carter will start side by side here tonight in the front row. My pick to win this race tonight, Sean Jacobs in the 24. There you go. I got it locked in. Some people would say that's a curse whenever I choose them to win the race. We'll see. Gelson Neto wiping his brow saying, thank God he didn't choose me. I got a shot at winning this thing. Hey, that's no way to be. So Neto will lead the field, take the green flag. A little bit bumpy here as well. I should probably mention that in the pre-race show. Mello just behind him, starting in row 2 alongside Sean Jacobs. Gordon Carter and Gelson Neto going to be side by side here up front.
Green flag, go, go, go.
Gelson Neto got a launch off at the start. Gelson Neto got a huge launch off the corner, or off the start there, and now has a pretty substantial lead over Mateus Mello. 4/10 already. Mello trying to close in. Sean Jacobs running just behind Gordon Carter. Gordon Carter in that 7X machine tonight. On board here with Sean Jacobs running in the 4th position. Gordon Carter running in 3rd. A little tire scrubby here going through the corners. Not too bad. Julio Caligari running in P5 in the 8 truck. I think Julio is really a guy that's really very, very good middle of the race and on. Seems to get patient there. The only thing I think what happens to Julio is he gets caught up in some of those other incidents there. And not something that's going to help you late in the race. But, man, I'll tell you, if he's around at the halfway and he hasn't had something happen to him, continue to watch him. He might be at the front. Jack Catano, good starting position here in the 6th spot. We got a good battle here between Grover and Givaldo. Dana and Givaldo here battling it out as Givaldo holding on to that spot in the 8th position. Dana in 9th. Good battling here in the back of the pack. John Stanley has a little bit of a battle going on with the 68. John Stanley on the outside is a 68. Givaldo Spinola now pushing his way forward. He's now moved up to the, whoa, not so fast, he says. John Stanley says, don't count me out, buddy. I'm side by side. Trying to get that spot back on the high line. So John Stanley fighting on the high line. He knows that high line's pretty good, and you can do it. Givaldo still rocking that inside line here on board with Givaldo. Hear that tire scrub going on. I tell you, I think the outside line might be the place to be, but he's able to get this spot back. Inside line, I think, really is going to burn those tires up. And outside, I think, for a protracted period of time is going to be the best way to go. And I think Sean Jacobs might have made contact with the outside wall. Come off the turn. I think Sean Jacobs might have some right side damage now to that machine. got a little swirly. It looked like the little tail happy coming off. And he might have made contact with the wall. It definitely was not very big. Not substantial contact, but definitely some contact there. Board here with him as he's running behind Gordon Carter. Mateus Mello in second. Gelson Neto is our leader. 7 laps in. Good fair amount of racing going on all throughout the track. Take a look at Gordon Carter in the 7X Chevy. Carter now trying to close in on Mello. Mello running in the second position in the 6X. One of our newer drivers here in the Truck Series. Waldo and Jack Furtado here battling it out. Jack Furtado in the 94. A little bit of might have been a little bit of warping there. We're saying that Jack had gotten around. Take a look here. There we go. There's that pass. Jack Furtado on the outside, battling Givaldo. Givaldo had closed in on him, and now Jack working on the outside, trying to hold on to that spot. But now looking at the 68, being able to take that spot from the 94. So the 68 now moving up to P6. Now the guy who's looking out in the back of his machine, he says, "Hey, I see ya, Givaldo. I see what you tried. You're not going to be able to get away with that on me. I'm going to protect my spot." Givaldo is closing in, though. Givaldo very fast here in this Paderia Cesario sponsored Chevy. Then they got 2 packs here, and it looks like the first pack is led by the 63. Gelson Neto. Mateus Mello is in second. Gordon Carter third. Sean Jacobs is in fourth. Let's take a look at that pass there with 68. Being able to get around Jack Furtado. As Furtado tucks in. Now John Stanley and Dana Grover closing in as well. One thing I would worry about right now with Givaldo is burning up those tires. He has raced pretty hard, and some of these other guys not quite so much. Dana Grover here running in the back of the pack. He's running in ninth. Did not qualify. So started in the back in the 89. Now trying to hold on to the back end of John Stanley's machine. And John Stanley showing some muscle here as he's now closed in on Jack Furtado. On board here with John Stanley. He's running in the 8th position in the 12th truck and way up near that outside wall. Man, these guys are really flirting with that outside wall. My heavens, man. That is too close for comfort for me. John Stanley's got a heck of a run here. Has to back out, but he's got a outside move here on the outside of the 94 truck. Coming off the corner. Got to be really careful there. Whoa! Good side-by-side racing there between Stanley and Furtado. John Stanley going to use a little Stanley tool muscle and get around. John Stanley now moving up to the 7th position. Jack Furtado falling back to P8. So Stanley now looking pretty strong here in the later half of this run. He's now closing in on Givaldo. Givaldo closing in on Caligari. Good pack racing right here, huh? Givaldo in the front of this crew, but man, I'll tell you what, like I said about Givaldo, is he really went out like gangbusters here, worked his way up through the crowd, to get rid of like 75% of those cameras. My God, man. As Givaldo running in the 5th position. John Stanley now closing in on Caligari. Oh, John Stanley got a little bit squirrely as he came down onto the apron, and that's an accordion effect. Looks like Jack Prado and Dana Grover got together. John Stanley got down onto the apron and then caused it came back up the track, might have gotten into Furtado a little bit. Take a look here. Is Stanley getting up the track. Furtado, no contact there. And then Furtado comes back down the track, doesn't expect the 89 to be there. 89 did a heck of a job of holding on to that. Look at the front of his machine. He's going to see a whole lot of 94 truck right there. Holy smokes. What a great save. We'll battle now. Sean Jacobs and Mateus Mello here battling it up. Sean Jacobs in the 24 late in this run, 18 laps into this run. He is showing some muscle here in the Kubota-sponsored Chevy 6X. Mateus Mello falling back to the 4th position. As Sean Jacobs in the Kubota machine now up to P3 and sets his sights on that 7X. Nelson Neto wants those guys to get a little racy so he can pull away. He's already opened up about a half a second gap there on Gordon Carter. Hugging that outside wall. Gordon Carter in the 7X now has to deal with the Sean Jacobs. Jacobs starting to look a little bit on the low side. Caligari and Givaldo here battling as the 12, trying to give the 8 a little bit of a push. And the 8, JB Rancing sponsor machine, Julio Caligari now picks up P5. Givaldo back to the 6th position. John Stanley running behind Givaldo. Givaldo running in 6th, with John Stanley running in that 7th position. He has really moved up, but kind of has stalled a little bit. Might have been a little contact earlier. He might have some front end damage in that 12 truck. Nelson Neto, the leader, and he has not been able to open up more of a gap. If anything, these guys have actually run him down a little bit. Carter and Jacobs. There's a couple of Chevys there running up onto the back of this Ford. Nelson Neto now has some company. The 7X of Gordon Carter now to the bottom side. Looking a little racy here late in this run. Down the backstretch, side by side. Neto and Carter. Neto on the outside, Carter on the inside. Gelson Neto now going to let those guys go. Very interesting. How to let those guys go. I didn't really understand that, but hey. Neto in the 63 now falling back to the 3rd position as both Gordon Carter and Sean Jacobs get by. That was a little bit more of a blow by there. Just, hey, go on. See Jacobs going down to the inside. Neto gave those guys a lot of room. Maybe thinking that these guys have a little bit better tires than he does. Mateus Mello wants a little piece of this action. He is falling back to these guys. The front 3 led by Gordon Carter, Sean Jacobs, and Gelson Neto trying to run away from Mateus Mello. Make this a 3-truck race. John Stanley and Givaldo Spindola are now battling again. Stanley and the Ford going to get around the 68. Now Givaldo dropping back to the 7th position. Dana Grover has been able to get around Jack Furtado, but it just does not seem like this truck has been quite as good as what I think he wanted. It's a little bit of contact early on, so the 89 Tracks VR sponsor machine right now running in the 8th position. John Stanley now closing in on Caligari. Caligari on the outside is John Stanley in the 12, going to get by. A little Ford getting by the Chevy. And that's Stanley Tools sponsor number 12 truck now in the 5th position. We got a battle here for the race lead, I believe. The 24 and the 7 now battling together. 24 to the inside. Gordon Carter in the 7X up on the outside line, and the 24 going to pick up the spot. Sean Jacobs in the 24 now gets around Gordon Carter. Gelson Neto sits in that 3rd position. So Sean Jacobs in the 24, our new leader. Go back here and look at Mello. With that action there, those guys racing together, Mello is about 2 seconds off the race lead. Does seem like he's sort of reeling him in just a little bit, but we'll have to keep an eye on the 6X. That is way up the track. They're trying to get a good run down the hill. See what he's trying to do there. Had a good battle here with the 89 and 68 and the 94. The 94 drifting up a little bit. The 89 and the 94 having a great battle. Look at that. 3-way battle as the 94 slips through. And contact between the 89 and the 68. The 68, oh man, there was contact. Take a look at this again. Jack goes by on the inside, and there's contact here between the 68 and the 89. Jack Furtado did not want to see any of that, that's for sure. Looking at the back of his machine to take a look at this. Oh, a little contact. The 68 and the 89. Gordon Carter was trying to get around Sean Jacobs, and take a look here. This is that. Take a look at a little bit earlier is Sean Jacobs on the outside. Gordon Carter making a run on the inside. Sean Jacobs sticking to his guns here. He's got a little help now with the 63 on the high side. A little side draft, and Jacobs going to regain this spot. 7X keeping him honest, though, that's for sure. Jacobs maybe doing a crossover move here as we go a little bit later. As Sean Jacobs getting down the hill a little bit, using the inside line. And gets around the 7X. Sean Jacobs, our leader. Does he go back live? Preston Hassel joining us in the chat session. There's Waldo getting us going too. He's out there on the track. Preston Hassel, good to see him out. Good racing up front. The best racing on the track right now. Is that 7X now giving another shot on the inside, and now the 63 is going to go down to the bottom line to see if he can't help the 7X up. we take a look at our side-by-side there, John Stanley back up running in the 5th position. Had a pretty good run getting through some of those drivers, but now it seemed to have kind of petered out just a little bit on that run. Now Jelson going back to the high side, helping at 24. Maybe see if we can't get a run here using the draft to get around the 7X. Don't forget Nashville Speedway coming up in the High Octane Racing League Bushwhacker Series on Friday, 29 of May. Racing starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So a little bit later, 1 hour later there on Fridays compared to what we have on Wednesdays. So 110 laps there from Nashville. IndyCar Series will be at Iowa Speedway on Saturday at noon. Will be the practice time. Qualifications will start at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that'll be broadcast live on TurnLeft TV. Don't forget about the Saturday Night Thunder. Will be at Nashville on Saturday at 9 p.m. Race number 2 of that season. Sean Jacobs has been able to hold off the charge, but I think Jelson Neto might just be playing with him a little bit. 37 laps in, no caution flags. Been green so far. And then look at that, Jelson Neto, no get down to the inside. He's got a truck ahead of Sean Jacobs. We were watching that a little bit, see whether he was going to be able to make it. So he dove down to the inside and decided, hey, it's time for me to lead. We'll take a look at this pass again as Neto, a good run down the backstretch, dives down to the inside. And Jacobs not going to fight him too hard, I don't believe, at this juncture. A lot of laps to go. And Neto in the 63 back out front. Well, don't forget about that tire rule here tonight. You get 12 total tires. I don't think it's really going to come into play unless we get a bunch of caution flags. Every 2 tires you take over the limit is a 1-lap penalty. You got to manage the rubber, and you're going to win the race here in the Truck Series. Take a look at John Stanley in the 12. He's got him out there by himself right now, running in the 5th position. Good top 5 run here for Stanley. He's had to work to get up there. Fell back there early in the race, but has been able to recover and really kind of saved his stuff and really got around guys in a hurry. And now he's out there trying to close in on Mello. And now he's got about 5.5 seconds gap between he and Mateus Mello. Nonetheless, having a pretty good night here running in P5. This guy has been able to open a pretty substantial lead, almost a second lead over P2, and that's the 63 of Jelson Neto. See him come around here. You get P2, 3, and 4. Mello's starting to close in, I believe. Here comes John Stanley in 5th. Caligari, Furtado, and Grover. And Givaldo is a little bit back there. Really pushed it pretty hard. Might have some damage there. He's running in the 9th position. He's trying to save his tires. Really used them up. He made a lot of, got a lot of places, picked up a lot of spots, but has since fallen back. At this track, you got to do the risk versus reward because it is tough on tires. You run the truck early, and it kind of can sucker you into that because the race is a heck of a lot of fun. You can make some passes inside, outside, run side by side for a while, but man, the more aggressive you are on an early part of a run, the bigger the penalty is going to be for you later in that run. These guys that can run fast and consistent laps, not a lot of lane changing, not a lot of speeding up, slowing down, trying to get around somebody, using different lines, and so forth. You save those tires, and you're going to be a little bit better off late in the run. Here we are, 45 laps in, and we got it pretty spread out here. Close battle on the track right now is the battle between the 24 and the 7X. Sean Jacobs in second, Gordon Carter in the third position. Mello wanting to close in on these guys. He's got about a second and a half separating he and P3 of Gordon Carter. So the 6X seems way out of the throttle there. Trying to manage that throttle through the corner. Mello running in the fourth position. I think we're going to see some green flag pit stops here fairly soon. Now, Stanley had a little bit more of a lead here moments ago, but now Caligari and Furtado have worked together to close in on him. We haven't talked too much about Caligari here since the beginning of the race. He and Jack Furtado having a pretty good battle here. The 8 truck trying to close in on the Ford. The 12 of John Stanley. Stanley was out there. These guys have reeled him in. On board here was Giulio Caligari as Jack Furtado follows him in at the rear view mirror. So down on that left side, you can see Jack Furtado's truck in that side mirror. Furtado having a pretty good run. He's running behind this JB Rancing sponsor machine. Giulio Caligari, the Chevy. A couple Chevys here mixing it up. We're going to see pit stops here fairly soon, I think. Right here and on the radio that it's about somewhere between maybe 5 and 7 laps on fuel left, depending on how hard you've run this truck. So right now, lap 51. Looking at maybe somewhere around 55 to 58 laps. Could be a little bit earlier, but guys I think are going to try to make it to halfway. That gives them to 55. We've been caution-free. And Gelson Neto is our leader. He's got about a 2-second lead over Sean Jacobs. We're now up to 2 seconds there for Gelson Neto in that gap. Good parity up front. We got a Ford, 2 Chevys, and a Toyota in the top 4. 2 Fords in the top 5. So with 2 Fords, 2 Chevys, and 1 Toyota in the top 5. Good little parody there going on. Dana Grover coming down pit lane. Whoa, got to watch out for that cone. So Grover on the pit lane in the 89. Also here, maybe the 12 truck's going to be coming down pit lane. John Stanley indicating he's going to be making a pit stop. So we take a look at Dana Grover on pit lane. The first truck to come down pit lane. Has not really been his night, but I think he got some damage early on in the race. Gelson Neto is our leader. So not going to be able to make it halfway, I don't think. So I think he's going to have to make another pit stop here before it's over with. Looks like John Stanley is on pit lane as well. Finishing up his pit stop is the 12th. Fat Mac sponsored Stanley Tools sponsored machine. I'm hearing Sean Jacobs is going to be coming down pit lane too, so we'll keep an eye here at the 24 truck. Good one to watch here. On and off pit lane. Going to try to get that as smoothly as possible. Do not want to speed. On board here with Sean Jacobs. Gelson Neto now coming down pit lane. So Gelson Neto making a pit stop. Oh no, Gelson Neto! Yellow flag. You can go. You can go. So Gelson Neto came around and caution flag. Oh my God, the race leader made a boo-boo. Take a look at Gelson Neto. So Gelson Neto pitted, and man, he came around right here. Too much speed, and this thing spins out. And what a Gelson Neto spinning on pit lane. Let's take a look at this again. Right here, just too much speed, and the thing comes around on him and brings out our first caution flag. He was the race leader, too. Wow. Some of these guys talking about gas, they're going to have to come down pit road here, and pit road is not open, but they've got to get gas or they're going to run out. And he might not have any gas left. As Gordon Carter a little tight on gas. Like Mello has retired his machine. Not sure what happened with him. So a lot of these guys now stretching it, trying to hopefully make it on the pit lane. Very interesting. Some of these guys coasting here trying to save gas. I think once you get close enough to pit lane, you get enough speed, you can coast it around. Caligari on to pit lane. Got one DOA on pit lane. That's Gordon Carter. He's out of fuel. Looks like Sean Jacobs going to give him a little push. Well, we got some shenanigans going on pit lane, too. Looks like Sean Jacobs tried to give the Gordon Carter a shove there, but not working. Those guys both a lap down now. Not sure I would have done that. I'll be honest with you. So some of these guys are, they scooched on fuel. They tried to save. Then they got themselves stuck out there, and they're having trouble to get around, to get onto pit lane. Not what I would be doing. Some of these guys are now going to go a couple laps down, I believe. We'll see. Gelson Neto is the leader. Mello out of the race 4 laps down. Sean Jacobs and Gordon Carter have both gone 2 laps down now on pit lane. And I'll tell you what, if you're Gelson Neto, you're like, hey, wait a minute. That's good news for me. I've been battling those guys all night long. And that helps him out. You know, certainly he's looking at a championship run. He's looking at a race win here tonight. I know we're a long way away for thinking about a championship, but every time something like this happens and you do not get into any trouble, that's just more points in your bank. Dana Grover has been a big benefactor here of some of those guys staying out and having to coast through pit lane because they were out of gas, and now he's up to P3. He was running near the back there. He was running near the back pretty much most of the race and moved his way up about halfway through the pack. Now I think it's going to be a pretty good deal for him. So interesting development here tonight, man, with the way the pit strategies these guys have been playing. It has not been working out too well in their favor. Some of these guys got hurt on that. All right, here we go. I think these guys are going to get going, and these guys better catch up. Some guys still on pit lane. We're back to green. Sean Jacobs got caught up to those guys. I thought he wasn't going to be able to make it, but he's now back onto the back end of that field. As now we have a new race leader, and that is Dana Grover. Man, a lot going on there, man. I know there's long periods of silence, but I'm also adminning this race live as well, so I got to mute stuff, and sometimes I've not muted it. So there's a lot going on here for me. I apologize for the dead space. It's a one-man operation here, especially when I have to admin the race as well. Neto up on the outside there, way up in the gravel, picking up some dust. Neto running in the 4th spot, just behind Caligari. Excuse me, in the 3rd spot, just behind Caligari. The 89, Dana Grover, our leader. Caligari's in second, Neto third, Stanley fourth, Furtado is fifth. Gibaldo on the pit lane. Not sure what's happened to Gibaldo, but he is on pit lane. He might have gotten kicked. Now rejoining the track. Good battle here for P2, and that is Gelson Neto and Giulio Caligari battling it out. Caligari running in the second position, and Gelson Neto running in P3. John Stanley up to the fourth spot. Dana Grover now battling the 7X, Gordon Carter. Carter trying to get one of his laps back. The 24 trying to get by and get one of his laps back as well. Carter 1 lap down. Jacobs is 2 laps down until he gets around the 89 if he's able to do it. But he is going out like gangbusters here trying to get around the 89. Jack Furtado running in the 5th position, and he is 1 lap down. He's in the lucky dog spot as we speak. See Sean Jacobs now getting around the 89. Now Jack Furtado wants to try to get his lap back, or at the very least, not let anybody pass him. So he can try to at least hold on to that lucky dog spot. Caligari running in the 2nd position. Oh, see, Jack Furtado might have gotten into the outside wall. Furtado might have made contact with the outside wall. And this JB Rancing, number 8, Giulio Caligari wants to get around. John Stanley and Gelson Neto having a good battle. Stanley to the inside, Gelson Neto into 63 on the high side. 71 laps in, these guys are racing. Dana Grover did not really fight the 7X or the 24 too vigorously. Jacobs now 1 down, and so is Gordon Carter, both of them 1 lap down. There's our race leader, that is Dana Grover. 89 track VR Toyota. Caligari is in 2nd, Stanley 3rd, Neto is in the 4th position. Take a look at Gelson Neto. He's running in P4 in that 63. He led a lot of laps. Now he's got John Stanley who's gotten around him. And to take a look at that pass, there's John Stanley. We take a look at his pass again, I should say. John Stanley using that low line and getting around. So you see a little aggressive driving now out of a lot of these guys, with this being the back half of the race. Take a look at Jack Furtado. Furtado running in the 94. He is 1 lap down in the lucky dog position. If there is a caution flag, the 94 will get back on that lead lap. I think the pits situation for some of these guys really threw some guys back there. We have some guys out of gas, coasting down pit lane, some guys giving each other a push on pit lane, or one guy giving somebody else a push on pit lane. So there was a fair bit of that. The 89 has been a benefactor of this caution flag. He is now our race leader. Caligari, Stanley, and Neto, the other three trucks on the lead lap. '94 Jack Furtado says, I am ready to get around and get my lap back the old-fashioned way. And the 94 to the inside of the 89. And that's going to allow Caligari and Stanley to close in. 63 as well, so this is some good racing here. As the 63 running in the fourth position. It's all on the lead lap. Jack Furtado has just gotten around and opened the floodgates for these guys. Stanley in the 12, now closing in on Dana Grover. A couple Canadian drivers here battling it out. See the opening right there. John Stanley wants to stick that tool right into that opening. No, it didn't. Sorry. Oh, the 12 truck trying to get his truck below the 89 truck. That's what I meant. But he is driving a truck that's sponsored by Stanley Tools, so it was an easy one to do. I am sorry. Dana Pro says, let me get away. I don't want to hear any more of that talk. Oh, into the 94. Into the 94. How about this? We got a Chevy, a Ford, and a Toyota all mixing it up front. And Giulio Caligari, he might be the benefactor of this battle. On board here with Caligari. Jack Furtado, Dana Grover mixing it up. There might have been some contact. John Stanley is watching this battle between the 94 and the 89. These guys just keep mixing it up. Now, the 94 is not on the lead lap, technically. He got around, got on the lead lap, but now has since given up that lead position in this pack, and the 89 is back at the race lead. John Stanley right there in the 12. You just breathe a little sigh of relief once you get around the lap trucks like this. And now you can set your sights on the race leader. And that's what John Stanley, I think, is doing here. He is looking really, really racy here in the 12. 85 laps in. 81 laps in. Sorry about that. John Stanley now looking on the low side. No can do for the 12 this time. 89 now guarding that inside line. Don Jacobs and Gordon Carter have had a few laps of battle. 24 running in the 6th position. Gordon Carter running in P7. Gelson Neto in the trying to work his way through, get around some lap traffic, follow Caligari through. Neto to the inside as Jack Furtado racing on the outside line. Jack Furtado, man, he comes out here early, gets some laps in. Guy just keeps getting better and better and better. Looking at him on that outside as Gelson Neto gets through. Jack Furtado racing in the 5th position. He is one lap down, but in P5. Looking at a good top 5 run here. Now the 8 and the 63. No lap cars between them and the front two. Caligari, Gelson Neto got a little bit swirly off the corner on board here with Caligari. That truck got a little bit swirly. find a way around that 6. A couple Brazilian drivers there, of course. And a couple Canadians. 2 Canadians and 2 Brazilians battling it out here in the top 5. Jack Furtado from the Azores, as I understand it, but living over on the East Coast. I think New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure Tony or Jack will correct me if they're watching this broadcast now or after the race. I got it wrong, but somewhere on that East Coast. "85 laps in, the 89. Dana Grover, the leader. John Stanley in second. Julio Caligari is third. Gelson Neto in the 4th position. Running in 5th is Jack Furtado. Back here and look at Givaldo. Givaldo is running 2 laps down. A little tough break there for Givaldo early on, but now 2 laps down. The caution flag and just getting caught down. He finds himself 2 laps down in the 8th position. Keeps plugging away. Take a look at our pack of 4. The race leaders: Grover, Stanley, Caligari, and Neto. John really looking like he wants to find a way, gets up to the back end of that 89, and it just seems like, hey, okay, this is not the right time. Just doesn't feel it, and he dives back up to the high line. You see just like peaks there on the inside and then goes back up to the high side. He's got to play a little defense too because he's got Gelson Neto just behind him. Gelson Neto and Julio Caligari. Caligari running in the 3rd position. Neto's got a good run here behind Caligari. Backs off a little bit. Now he's going to leave the door open there for Jack Furtado. Furtado in the 94 is a lap down. I think that's fair game. I mean, I probably would, mention to Jack, like, hey, man, you are 1 lap down. You're in the lucky dog position. You're not at risk of not being in the lucky dog position right now. Let us race it out. And if things change with the 6th place car or 7th place car coming up and challenge you for that position, we'll let you go. I think Furtado probably realizes that too. See what this truck can do in traffic. There's really no benefit other than getting around all 4 of these guys. Really no benefit. Of walking up through this field unless you get around the lead truck. You're still going to be in lucky dog position unless you get by that 89 truck. Take a look at Caligari running into the 3rd position. He has definitely got to be thinking about Gelson Neto on the back into him. Oh, contact right there. Oh, my heavens. Gelson might have listened to me. Little bump there by Gelson Neto, and Caligari almost went around. Take a look here. Do it the old-fashioned way. Coming into this corner, I think there was just a big bump. Right there, into the back of the 8. Wow. We got a yellow flag now. We have a yellow flag, and it looks like maybe Furtado wanted to come around. Or he did come around, and it looks like he may end up getting a lucky dog out of this spot. Take a look and see what happened here. We were watching that checkup, and he got on the brakes really, really hard. Does he stay out of the wall? It looks like he does. Jack Furtado has gotten right there. And he's going to get the lucky dog position, I believe. A little bit changed there with the. I didn't think they were going to have to make a pit stop, but now you know these guys are going to come down pit lane. I think these guys definitely Furtado. He's going to be coming down to. So I think we're going to see some of these guys maybe make pit stops here. I think I want fresh tires, especially if I'm fourth. We got 4 guys on the lead lap. If I'm fourth, I want tires, man. Neto, Caligari, and that may, cause P1, P2. The worst you could do is you come out in the 4th position, really, unless you have some catastrophic problem. And it does look like all 4 of these guys are going to come down pit lane. Now, guys are on pit lane. Dana Grover on pit lane. John Stanley on pit lane. Julio Caligari and Gelson Neto, the top 4 on pit lane. Now, what do you do if you're some of these other guys that were a lap down? Just stay out. I mean, hey, you might get a caution flag. So you got Grover topping off with gas and getting some tires. If you guys are now, you're looking at Sean Jacobs, Gordon Carter. They're at the tail end of the lead lap right now, so they're going to get a wave around. They don't need to come in, but what they could benefit from is if there's another caution flag, and they're back on the lead lap. So things have changed a little bit. So now we got Dana Grover, John Stanley, Gelson Neto, and Julio Caligari. And we might be seeing Carter and Jacobs. Now, Carter and Jacobs are going to be on a little bit different situation here. I mean, they could come down pit lane, I think. They're not worried about fuel. They're worried about tires, and I think they might be in a situation where, they're on the tail end of the lead lap. So I think those guys are going to get a wave around. I don't think I'd be coming down pit lane if I were either one of those guys. This guy's on older tires, but listen, gamble. You're gambling here. They're gambling here, so they're going to get a wave around, and now those guys are going to gamble here a little bit and not take tires. So they're not going to come in. They're not going to take tires. These 2 guys are on a little bit older tires, and I think you're going to look at a situation where these guys are going to get a wave around and, hopefully a quickie caution for the 2 of those guys. That's what I'd be thinking if I were in the driver's seat. Dana Grover, the race leader, he does not want to see a caution flag, but hey, he can go. He's on fresh tires. 12 on fresh tires. Neto on fresh tires. Giulio Caligari all on fresh tires. But it's going to be interesting to see how this works out here. We've got a little drama with Sean Jacobs and Gordon Carter getting wave arounds. And we're getting ready to go green here for lap 98. Very, very interesting. All right, the 89 and the 12 side by side here for this restart. Well, to answer your question, Jack Furtado did not get a wave round.
Go, go, go.
He had to go on to pit lane, and he had to pit with the 2 to go. Look at that, the 89 up on the gas, the 63 right behind him. The 12 did not get a good start there. Here on lap 98. The 89 and now the 63 to the inside. Gelson Neto looking like he wants to get around here, this 89 car. Caligari in 4th, Stanley in 3rd, Neto 2nd, and our leader is the 89 of Dana Grover. John Stanley's been fast all night long, man. Can he make it happen here in the 12? Tough cookie up there to get around, and that is Gelson Neto. Neto in the 63 truck. Got a pretty good race here tonight, man. These guys who were not able to come missed a great race here so far. And look at this, John Stanley to the inside. Little pinch there by the 63. But John Stanley keep his foot in the gas. And not able to do it. He has to tuck back in. Got to be careful there because the 8 is right there as well. Dana Grover and the 63, you know they're going to get racy. 63 just trying to time when he wants to go. '89 hard, and he's going to leave that inside open. The 63's got to run on the inside. 63's got to run on the inside. As the 89 threw that car into the corner, and the 63 is now going to try to get by. If I were John Stanley, I'd dive down to the inside line as well. See if he can't get a run. Now he's going to leave too much of a gap for the 89. Maybe going to help the 89, but the 63 goes over and slams the door. 89 now working the high side with the 12. The 12 going to give him a little bit of a push. Oh, out of the gas. The 89 running back by the 63. The 8 in this mix as well. This is getting wild. Gelson Neto, whoa, how did he get that truck up there? Oh, there's contact. Contact as John Stanley hold on to it. He does. How in the world did that happen? How in the world did that happen? John Stanley, he got turned. The 8 car down to the inside. Looks like John Stanley dove down, goes across the nose of the 8, who's up into the outside wall. Sean Jacobs gets by, John Stanley getting by, and now really it's a 2-truck race. And Neto had gotten around in all that mix. Take a look at this pass. Gelson Neto on the inside. Look at this, man. This is going to get crazy. Watch this. John Stanley comes over. As Neto had gotten around, Stanley went down to the inside, and Caligari was there. Wow. Gelson Neto to the lead. Dana Grover is in second. Stanley And Caligari now back to Stanley's back to third. Caligari still running. Now he's back to the 5th position. Jacobs is in 4th. Carter's in the 6th spot. So the 63 of Gelson Neto opening up a 0.7 of a second lead. Grover might have some tire issues. He's starting to give away more time. 2.6 seconds back to John Stanley. Jacobs in 4th, 3 seconds back. 5 laps to go to 63 truck. Gelson Neto starting to open up that gap. Now you're just thinking, please do not bring out a caution flag. Do not bring out a caution flag. As that Caligari now closing in on 24. Caligari got into the wall with that incident just a few laps ago. John Stanley running in the 3rd position. About a second separates Stanley from Caligari. Gelson Neto wants nothing of a caution flag at this point. 108 laps in. Across the line will be on lap 109. Scheduled to go 110. Gelson Neto in the 63. 1.5 second gap over Dana Grover. Stretching that out. 2 laps to go for the 63. Gelson Neto. Stanley has done well to hang on to P3. Caligari still holding on to P4. He's gotten back around Sean Jacobs. Jacobs, remember, on those older tires. Take a look here at that pass. Is that Caligari getting around Jacobs? Back to P4. One lap to go for Gelson Neto. It's all over but the shout now, I think, as long as they're in the caution flag. Gelson Neto now extending that to 2 second gap. Coming off the final corner, Gelson Neto in the right place at the right time, and that is up front, baby. Gelson Neto is going to get the win here at Nashville. Good job to Gelson Neto. What a fantastic run there for him. Good job, Gelson Neto. A little bit of damage on the front of that truck, but hey. When this gets starts spinning, it's hard for me to get this lined up, so I apologize. It's always a trick, trying to get the screenshot. We got to ban them from doing burnouts like that until I get a screenshot. There we go. We got one now. So great job to Gelson Neto. Wow, Gelson Neto, baby, gets it done. Didn't have that on my bingo card tonight, man. A little truck race. I really didn't. So congratulations to Jelson getting a big win. The 63 truck, good to see him back in victory lane. It's been a while since I've done a broadcast in the truck series. Let's take a look at the final results. Jelson Neto gets the big win in that Ford. Jada Grover finishes in second. John Stanley third. Julio Caligari finished in a fourth position. How about that? 2 Fords, the Toyota and a Chevy. 2 Chevys in the top 5. Just about how they started this, too. Gordon Carter finished in the 6th position. Jack Furtado is 7th. Givaldo Spinola finished in 8th position. And Mateus Mello finishes in P9. Oh, I know. I forgot to do something. Oh, boy. There we go. Jelson Neto finishing in P1. Obviously, I did not fix the logo there. We can fix that, I think. What an interesting race, man. Just that late race caution there certainly changed it for some of these guys. Some of them, had to come down pit lane too and serve a little bit of a penalty there, and got caught, got snookered. But that happens. Just a second here, and let me get some. Get some administrative things done. Just a one-man show here, man. I apologize for that. Don't hate the guy doing the broadcast. Doing the best he can. And he's not paid very well. I'll be honest with it. There we go. We got it. See, that's what I was doing. I was fixing that. Now all's better, right? So congratulations to Jelson Neto and getting a big win here in a surprise broadcast, man. Didn't really realize I was going to broadcast. Talked myself into it about an hour ahead of time so I could get some things worked out. Don't forget, next week we will be at Michigan right here in the Tough Truck Series. That's race number 2. That's coming up on June the 3rd. Is it already pushing June? Michigan coming up next week. 90-lap race next Wednesday. Another tire strategy race coming up your way on Wednesday, June the 3rd. Thank you for watching me here on the YouTube channel. Appreciate it. Always good to see people coming in on a surprise broadcast and chatting it up. Really appreciate that. Thanks for joining me here on TurnLeft TV. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, smash the bell, and hit that thumbs up button as well. Get that algorithm talking, baby. Talking in the right direction. Bushwhacker Series will be back in action on Friday. Another race at Nashville this week. Race number 1 of a brand new season there in the Bushwhackers Xfinity Series. That'll be live right here on TurnLeft TV. And then don't forget, Saturday afternoon, High Octane Racing League IndyCar Series live right here on TurnLeft TV, Iowa Speedway. Did we have a great race at Indy last week? Well, we got Iowa this week, 200-lap race. Great short track, and some of these guys have never been on, so it will be interesting in that tight short track racing in the IndyCars. Saturday Night Thunder will be back at Nashville, race number 2 of the season, coming up this Saturday at 9 p.m. Well, that's going to do it for me tonight. It's a little short one here. Thank you so much for joining me on TurnLeft TV. I am out of here.